94RO with Sherbet, 17 past 7, and the focus on youth crime continues, and there's plenty of people in the community that want to see something done about it. A meeting was held featuring controversial One Nation Senator Malcom Roberts and, of course, the community patrol ringleader Torin O'Brien on the weekend to discuss where to go to from here. Torin joins me now. Thanks for your time.
Hey, how you going?
Good. Tell me about this meeting, how it came about.
Look, it was just sort of the next level. We've obviously done a couple of patrols, and they've been really successful and had a lot of positive feedback. But there's a lot of other groups of people that are concerned. So this is a different group of people. They're a much older audience, different concerns, probably a little bit less able than the younger ones that want to run around and actually try to put some numbers back on the streets. So we definitely took a different angle there. Tried to think about politically what we could do, and there's also some other issues that we had to discuss, like what business owners are going through. You know, we're talking about cars getting pinched from houses all the time, but businesses are getting smashed too.
Yeah. Yeah, the focus on businesses has seemed to snowball, hasn't it? I mean, there's more and more all the time. How did Senator Malcom Roberts become involved?
Well, he was coming up through town already. Obviously, I've had a bit to do with One Nation in the past, and any serious situation that a lot of parties seem to get away from, they're always got my back. So I wanted to get this sorted. This crime wave out of control. No one's doing anything about it, and they're the first ones that put their hand up to support me. So I'll go with it. We did invite everyone. Barry O'Rourke was invited. Matt Canavan was invited. He did get back to me and said he apologised he couldn't be there. It was just simply too late a notice. So we wanted to get everyone involved, that everyone work together. Get away from this toxic political sort of state we have in Australia. Just work together like adults. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out like that. Barry didn't turn up or get back to me. Matt was just out of town. But again, One Nation are there sort of wanting to get into the dirty work and try and fix this.
So, Torin, what was the main focus? What was said?
We had a couple of different speakers for a couple of different points. So, as I mentioned before, there's a big concern about business. One of the big issues of business is people are getting robbed so much now that they're actually not able to get insurance anymore. There's some businesses that have been targeted so much they can't get insurance. Now, if you can't get insurance, you can't expand to get finance. There's a range of things you can't do without insurance, and there's no safeguards for those business owners. So that was the one part we needed to talk about. We had a speaker from a local business here that's been through that, as well as our Morani MP, Stephen Andrews, who wants to sort of touch on what he can do. He's already put his submission through to Parliament asking what the government's doing to safeguard these things. And so we really just wanted to touch on that. I wanted to go through a different angle and speak about what I want to do, because I prefer the prevention side. I'd rather help these kids before they get to that point. And I also wanted to tell my story of programs I've been in before, why they've been successful and why I connect with these kids, and why all the groups out there that are making excuses for them and trying to paint this as some racist thing or something that it's not. It actually hurting the cause. You're actually hurting the kids, getting in trouble more than you're hurting us by sort of defending their actions because of whatever background they've got and sort of painting me out to be something that I'm not. So I really wanted to touch on that, and that's what I did, and with really good success. We've had really good conversations afterwards with youth workers that arranged with other people, and we're going to have a couple of meetings this week to see what sort of programs we can put together that's not going to rely on government funding, because that's sort of been a bit of an issue.
I'm really interested in that, and I mean, obviously this could be a long conversation, but in as briefly as you can make it, what is the difference between programs that work and programs that don't?
So the difference for me is that programs that work, they're going to have a lot less red tape. So programs that work, so my programs I've been involved in that work, they work because I connected to kids. I've actually been where they've been. I've got that horrible background. I've been in trouble. I don't judge them for being where they are, because that's where I come from. We sort of get along, and I give them a service that's actually a bit thrilling. There's adrenaline involved. It's still cool, right? Because if you're dealing with kids that are car thieves, good luck trying to get them to pull their socks up and just go to school and be a square all their life. It's not going to happen.
Yep.
Right? So then you get the programs that don't work. They're far too, to be honest, for lack of a better word, they're far too boring, right? There's too much red tape. You're not allowed to do or say the wrong things, and they just don't go anywhere. And when the funding dries up, the program stops, and those kids run back out to where the trouble they were getting in earlier, which is exactly what happened throughout 2020 when I was taken out of a program that was really, really successful. A couple of those kids that I worked with went straight to jail. So it's not just a matter of putting on, let's do a 12-week program and fix their lives. No, it needs to be ongoing.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. A 12-week program, or even some of these short programs, just aren't going to work. And we've got to get to the kids earlier. Is that fair?
We do need to get to the kids earlier, and I think a big part of it, what I spoke about, was all the groups that are defending their actions, and that's just making it worse. See, part of my speech was, when I was a young, essentially a street kid in West Melbourne, and I was a young little criminal at 14 years old, if I had groups of people defending my actions because I had a hard life, or government treating me like a bit of a princess and just giving me everything in the world, why would I bother pulling my own socks up when you've just been given houses and food and all these groups supporting your actions because you've had a tough life? Like, we've got to stop bathing everyone and also allowing all these excuses. Oh, it doesn't matter if you're 22 or you're 14. If you steal a car, you steal a car.
It's just incredible hearing you talk like that, Torin, because obviously you've got that experience, and too many of these programs are set up by people who believe that they're doing the right thing. That's sure, but it's more about getting those handouts and providing programs that are never going to work. I'm glad you're able to share that with us. What about from a business point of view? I imagine that business that spoke at that meeting, really, it was heartfelt. I imagine you had to pour your heart out to him.
It's really bad. One of the worst, not one of the worst, but one of the most recent stories I've heard, from just out west here, near Dingo, is $30,000 in fuel drive-offs from stolen cars alone in the last year.
That's incredible.
$30,000.
$30,000.
And it gets worse. There's stories of police calling ahead to roadhouses and saying there's a stolen truck on the way. Don't give them fuel. They need the fuel to run out to catch them because they're not allowed to chase them anymore. So when an attendant does give them fuel just to get them away because they're dangerous, they then sort of they don't get in trouble, but the police have a bit of a word to them, say, why did you give them fuel? They've gotten away now. We're not allowed to chase them. And so some places have been used as bait to trap these stolen cars, even though they're full of criminals and weapons. So the situation is just getting worse and worse and worse everywhere you look. Could you imagine being a business somewhat struggling after the last few years we've had, and now you don't even have insurance and you can't get insurance because you've been robbed so much? I mean, how horrific is that?
It's a terrible situation. It's good to hear that there are people standing up and trying to do the right thing. We're going to talk to Senator Malcom Roberts a little bit later in the week. But, Torin, appreciate your time. One day we're going to have to find about an hour that we can sit down together and go through some of this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good to talk to you. Thanks for your time.
No worries. Have a good day.
There we go. We will keep in touch, obviously, and find out when these meetings are taking place, but obviously an effective one on the weekend.